you can only be as good as you can be by learning off people, not by disregarding people. You've got to take little bits of nuggets and ingredients and to make you become better. I don't stand here and say, well, 10 years ago, I want to be Jurgen Klopp, I want to be Conte, I just want to be Dave Rodgers, and I want to be the best version of me that I possibly can.
Did you meet Steve Cooper while you were there? Was Steve Cooper there at the same time?
The gaffer was there as the academy manager locally, and again, I've known the gaffer for years. We played in the same team together, and he's just, what you see now is what the gaffer was like years ago. Real people person, genuine, hard working, very diligent and articulate in his work, and again, he's just, it's an honour for me being around these type of people throughout my career, not just as a player but now as a coach as well, and especially being a Forest. It's a really good place to be.
You've done the Liverpool job. Obviously the approach came along from Forest. Did that come directly from Cooper, or was that from Andy Reid, or how did that all pan out? You came obviously, was it last season you joined Forest? How did that approach come about, and what was the big decision that made you join the club?
So me and Reedy go back 12 years. Obviously Andy playing for Ireland. My wife and kids are Irish. I finished my career in Ireland with Shelbourne, and I was still playing at 36, which was 11 years ago. I'm 47 now. So me and Reedy met on the UEFA B licence. Two of us were just hit it off straight away. Reedy with his guitar, me with all my jokes. But yeah, no, we've come through the last 12 years, UEFA B, UEFA A, UEFA A Elite, and then 2 years ago we finished our UEFA Pro licence. I don't know if people know this, but there's only 6,500 UEFA Pro licence holders on the planet, which is phenomenal. They don't just get handed out. It's a lifetime of education, a lifetime of dedication and commitment to be a coach. You've got to sacrifice your family, you've got to sacrifice weddings, funerals. If you want to get to the top, you've got to sacrifice a lot of things, and it's not just handed to you on a plate. So for me, yeah, really, we've been together for 12 years. I've good friends. Seeing his development as a coach is phenomenal. You know, he's really detailed. He's proud of being a Forest. It's great to see him get the step up now into the first team. I'm proud that I was with him last year and being a part of his progression. So yeah, we've come a long way. But like you said, it's only, you know, you don't stand still and pat yourself on the back. You want to keep going. You want to keep progressing. And we want to keep producing players as long as we can.
A couple of final things to come to. Obviously, you came to Forest. You mentioned really getting a promotion, knowing Cooper. Obviously, that helped. Obviously, you're running the under-23s. What was it like it being in the background while you're in the background? I spoke to you when you came down here and you did a little presentation, which was really good of you earlier on, and you mentioned to me about you thought we'd sign Morgan Gibbs White and the Liverpool lad. You gave us a bit of an exclusive on that, and that happened. It took a bit of time with it, but you gave us a bit of exclusive. But just being in the background, all the build up to Wembley. Were you involved in that at all? Were you kept in the loop? How was that for you? Just being in the background, watching what was happening.
I think like everybody else, I'm a fan at heart, and I know I sit here, well, I stand here and I say, yeah, I'm an Everton fan, which I am. I was brought up an Everton fan, but when you work for this special club, it just, and my cousin Tank said it to me from day one. He said, the minute you walk in the door at the City Ground, he said, Forest will just become part of your life, and it really does. And I remember last season, first couple of games, and the atmosphere at the City Ground was the way it was, and it wasn't great, and you're thinking to yourself, this club's a giant of the club, and then for the gaffer to come in with his staff and just literally take it to the next level, seeing the work that they do on the training pitch, seeing the way he is as a person, because first and foremost, players, staff, us here, we're human beings first and foremost, and the gaffer's got a really good touch and a really good element of getting the best out of people, whether it's his coaches, whether it's players, and I think you can see that because we're in the Premier League as we stand here now, and you know, his attention to detail is fantastic. The staff around him, Tatey, Danny, you know, Ramsey, good people, and now seeing Reedy up there makes it even more special for me because the progression's there, and you know, the club's in a good place, and it just needs the fans to keep being on side, support the players, because they're giving it all every day, and no doubt they'll continue to do that.
Just got one final question for you, Dave, because the players are coming back out. Obviously, being in the Championship, your job at under 23 manager is to bring players through. How much harder is that going to be for you now, bringing players through to the Premier League? Because we've all witnessed it already. What a step up. How do you see the difference between where you were and your job now in terms of that? Because it is a massive step up.
Listen, it's a massive step up, but it's a big challenge for us as coaches as well, and a challenge that we embrace, because we want to keep that product line of quality players coming through the system at Forest. And you know, you're lucky, you've only got to look back the last 10 years, and Gary Brazil has been phenomenal in the work that he's instilled into the club, and we want to keep going. It is going to be more difficult because that level has now increased, but it doesn't defer or detract us as a group of coaches on our focus of keeping that pathway, keeping that productivity going, and we'll just keep giving it our all to do the very best we can to keep the players and keep giving them an opportunity to progress. So, onwards and upwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, second half to bat start. Dave Rogers.